This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hello and welcome live to the Brick Breeden Field House in Bozeman, Montana, the Jason Walker Show. We are live today. We got people walking around. We're set up courtside here at Max Worthington Arena. It is the first day of the State A Boys and Girls Combined basketball tournaments. By Saturday night, we will have crowned 8 state champs from across the state. You've got the AA in Butte. We'll check in up there. You've got the A here in Bozeman, the B up in Great Falls, and the C tournament going on down in Billings. So, you're in for quite the show today because we're going to have a lot of basketball talk. We'll talk the Bobcats. We'll talk high school. And we'll probably throw in some other stuff as we watch games. Currently, Billings Central and Hamilton girls tied at 25. About 2 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Great basketball being played, and Billings Central just took the lead. The two-time runners-up. And now Hamilton trying to answer back in a big block there. So anyway, lots of great action going on here across the state. You can watch this show live on Facebook. You can also watch it on Twitter, YouTube. You can also go to jasonwalkershow.com, our Twitter handle at jwalkersports, and our email jason@jasonwalkershow.com. So lots of stuff. Scott Wilson, the Associate Director of the MHSA and tournament guy in charge here at the State A, set to join us coming up today. He is a busy, busy dude, so we'll see if we can track down Mr. Wilson from Polson. So, anyway, we'll update you on what's going on. The walk-up brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry. You've got 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. You've got milled, handcrafted, in timber frame, and you need to get a hold of them if you want anything log cabin-wise done, as Central hits a 3 to take a 5-point lead with 90 seconds to play here in the half, and Hamilton's going to take a timeout. But this is why you need to get hold of them. They've got over 50 years experience, the finest craftsmen available not only in the state of Montana, but I think in the entire western United States. 15 different floor plans, or you can go in with your own. They'll work with you as well. So get a hold of Montana Custom Log Homes at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. Mentioned we're live in Bozeman. You've got the state AA going on up at Butte, and girls games earlier today. Hellgate knocked off Gallatin 64-52, and West has been destroying everybody this year. Knocked off Sentinel, doubled them up, 52-26. Tonight up in Butte, you've got Skyview against Big Sky, and then Flathead against Bozeman. On that end of things, we'll check the boys bracket. There's a couple of games in the books up in Butte as well. And Glacier beat Skyview boys 65-48. And West beat Big Sky 62-34. And at halftime, Butte leading Bozeman 34-27. The nightcap for the guys tonight, Hellgate Gallatin boys. So there is that bracket. Class A, great action earlier this morning. Saw the Eastern A hold serve, as they have for the last, half dozen years or more. Hardin girls and Coach Cindy Farmer got a 70-57 win over Dillon. And then Laurel upset the 1 seed out of the West, Frenchtown, 47-44. And Laurel was actually down 6 or 7. Oh, huge 3 from Taylor Searle. He's hit 32-28 Rams. Anyway, Laurel was down, had to rally in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter to get that victory. The A boys started things off today as well, down here at the Brick. And in early action, Dillon knocked out Glendive 57-46. And Butte Central, the defending state champs, held off 23 points from a Wildcat from Columbia Falls, and I can't remember his name right now, and I should know because I just called the game on NFHS Network. But 53-44 your final. Butte Central got up by as much as 18 in the second quarter, and Columbia Falls got to within 5, but could not get any closer than that. You've got the State B. Where is that? Four Seasons Arena in Great Falls. We'll start with the boys. And early action saw Loyola defeat Lodge Grass 83-56, and Wolf Point held off Columbus 65-62. And at the half, Malta blowing out Lame Deer 40-22. Other game tonight in the boys B in Four Seasons Arena, Red Lodge will take on Big Fork. The Class B girls also in action in the Electric City. Big Fork knocking off Baker 52-38. And Huntley Project all over Wolf Point today, 70-28. Other games tonight in Great Falls, girls B, Malta takes on Columbus. Big Timber will face Missoula Loyola. And finally at the Class C, we'll start with the boys down in Billings at Metro Park. Good buddy Rocky Erickson on the call there for NFHS. Manhattan Christian opened up with a big win over Broadview Lavina. A challenge game winner, playing its second game in 4 days, but 54-45, the Eagles get the win over Broadview Lavina. Belt beat Fairview 53-43, and Broadus leads Lone Peak at the half down in Billings 22-16. The State C girls bracket, check on that real quick for you. Twin Bridges all over Ekalaka 55-24, and Roy Winifred, the defending champs, rolled over Plentywood 48-27, and well, that was on last night. Manhattan Christian held off Roberts 58-56, and Seco Whitewater Hinsdale hammered Chinook 65-25. Games today, Plentywood over Ekalaka 63-24, so Plentywood stays alive, and Chinook took care of Roberts 76-61. Chinook stays alive. Games tonight, semifinals, Twin Bridges against Roy Winifred. Man, that'll be a good one. And another good one, Manhattan Christian will take on Seco Whitewater Hinsdale. So that is what's going on across the state. Lots of great basketball. And we talked about it this week on the show, but it might be my favorite week because you've got, or favorite time of the year, because you have all the state tournaments going on. You had state wrestling in February, state swim as well. Now you've got all the basketball tournaments for the last month, not to mention the Frontier, the Big Sky, everybody getting ready for March Madness. And we'll talk about the Frontier teams here in a moment. Some teams headed off to the final site. Oops. Just had a spill on the floor almost as the Billings Central cheer squad, the flyer, almost took a tumble. So everybody's okay. Anyway, we'll let you enjoy that while we talk about whatever we were talking about. Oh, but then you also have spring training baseball and the World Baseball Classic. But spring training baseball, and everybody's 0-0, and everybody has a chance to win the World Series. In reality, there's probably 5 teams that can win the World Series this year in Major League Baseball. Waiting Scott Wilson, the Associate Director of the MHSA, to come join us at some point during this broadcast. While we're waiting, we update you on the high school. Let's update you on the Frontier Conference Tournament, because there are still teams playing and there are still teams remaining. And it is absolutely great for the state of Montana, because in the Frontier Conference, we saw 3 out of our 4 teams move on. And super cool. Super, super cool. As Carroll women, ranked 11th, has won 15 straight now, I think, but they're heading back to Sioux City, Iowa for the second straight year. They were down 11 at the half last night, the 11th-ranked Saints. Came back to win 73-60 over Jamestown, the 23rd-ranked Jimmies. And Carroll, just, like I said, down 11 at the half, but really turned it on in the third quarter. And they scored 50 points in the second half. I mean, there were games this year where Carroll struggled to get to 50 points for a game, let alone 20 minutes. Jamie Pickens being Jamie Pickens. Cam Hilborn. Pickens tied a career high with 28 points. Hilborn had 9 assists and has over 200 for her career or for her season now, and she's also the all-time leader in assists at Carroll College. Kendall Keller, the Havre standout, 16.7 rebounds. Erica Nesson hit a big three at the end of the third quarter to send the game to the 4, tied at 52. And Genesis Wilkins, Sienna Swanik had big games as well. So Carroll College on to the final site, the final 16, as they knock off the Jimmies of Jamestown. Montana Western, the 2019 defending 2019 national champs, got past Sterling, Kansas in Park City, Kansas, 72-68 last night. They're headed back to the final 16, final site. 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 threes for Brinley Fitzgerald. Now, Fitzgerald and Jamie Pickens of Carroll were your co-Frontier Conference Players of the Year. So Western will play Dort, Iowa, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, and in 5 days out there in Sioux City. Check on Carroll. Who will they play? We'll tell you in a second. While we get that, we'll tell you that Rocky not making it 4 and 3 for 3 in the girls. The 11 seed fell 67-50 to LC State at Lewiston, Idaho. One of the tougher places in the country to play. Always has been, always will be. And Wes Keller's team that made the final site last year just falling short from heading back and making it a third team out of 16 for the Frontier Conference. But Western advances, Carroll advances, and see if we can find out who the Saints are going to play as we scroll through, as we work on it, and not yet. Okay, we'll work on that. While we tell you that, we'll tell you that the Montana Tech men are headed to Kansas City for the first time ever. It's been an unbelievable 2-year run for Adam Hyatt and the Ore Diggers. They're headed off to the round of 16. 77-72 win over Thomas More University last night at the Hyper Complex there in the mining city. Caleb Bellish didn't play. He got hurt in the first minute of the first game on Tuesday and has yet to come back. And he had a Twitter post yesterday that said, "I'll be back." So we'll see. Tech will play William Penn on Tuesday night down there at Kansas City Municipal Auditorium. There is, it is a fantastic place to watch basketball. And I'm telling you, if you've never been to Kansas City and the NAIA tournament, you should really, really try to go because it is absolutely fun. Now, it's not as great as it used to be with the 32 teams, the full 32, but the 16 is still pretty cool. Can I say this? Because you can't say certain things. Like NCAA has trademarked certain phrases with basketball. Like Sweet 16. Like Sweet 16. What else am I trying to say? Final or Elite 8 and Final 4. So you have to say the round of 16, the Final 8, and the Fab 4 in the NAI. However, what if you were to say to get to Kansas City in the round of 16 is pretty sweet? I don't know if we can. So let's see here. We will update the women's bracket. Carroll College, where you be? So we mentioned Western going to play Tuesday night against Dort, Iowa. And Carroll College will be a 2 seed and take on Dakota State out of South Dakota. That'll be Tuesday at 3 p.m. And the Frontier Conference well represented in both the men and the women's. It's fantastic, fantastic basketball. No question about it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and when we return, We'll talk to Big Sky. That and a whole lot more still to come. We are live from Bozeman. It is the State A boys and girls combined here from the Brick Breeden Field House. The walk-up brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry. 3 distinct divisions so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. Veteran-owned, family-owned, woman-owned, and operated. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. We'll update the Big Sky next. Hang on.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Ah, summer. A time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little or a lot, your choice, have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, live in Bozeman at the Brick Breeden Field House. One of the best times of the year, one of the best weeks of the year. The State A combined boys and girls basketball tournaments going on. You've got Billings Central fans sitting just behind me. You've got the Billings Central fans on this side of the floor. And on the other side of the floor is where you have the Hamilton fans. Billings Central girls right now leading Hamilton 38-30. This would be our second upset, quote-unquote, of the women's tournament. if Billings Central can hold on to win this game. They trailed by as much as, I think, 6, and now they lead by 8. Had a strong finish to the second quarter and a good start here to the third, and just drew a foul. And man, oh man, basketball is here, my friends, as we take a look at one of the officials. All right. Bethany Cordell, who works at Montana State, last year, about this time, dubbed it the year of the Bobcat. You had football making the national championship. You had a national championship in rodeo. On the women's side, the 8th rodeo national championship in school history. 8 of their 13. You also had, or 12, I guess. Anyway, you also had strong showings by track and field, tennis, cross country. It was just a great, great year. Well, you could argue that it continues. You had the Bobcat men and women, both 2 seeds in the tournament. Bobcat women and Tricia Binford losing in the first round. Second round, I guess. Maybe, yeah, right? Quarterfinals. And then you had, of course, Bobcat football making the semis for a 3rd straight year. You had them beating the Grizz pretty handily just behind us to our south at the Bobcat football stadium. And you also had, a lot of great things continuing. More qualifiers for the national or for the CNFR. Well, it continues because the 2nd seed Bobcat men, after getting a double overtime win over Weber State on Tuesday night, knocked off NAU. Cats have won 8 straight and 2 straight Big Sky Conference tournament titles for the first time in school history, headed to the NCAAs. Back-to-back seasons. It was a great basketball game. I actually got to watch it in the hotel here in Bozeman. 85-78 was your final. And Raekwon Battle had himself a tournament MVP, thanked his teammates, said really it's on them. But he led everybody with 25 points last night, hit 3 threes. And, the Bobcats came together at the end of the season, which is exactly what every single basketball coach says, or sports coach. You want to be playing your best at late in the year. Well, the Bobcats are doing that. They've won 12 of 13. They've won 8 in a row, and they're headed off. They'll find out Sunday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time who they will play in the NCAA tournament first round. They're projected as a 15 seed. It was interesting last night watching the game because Joe Lunardi of ESPN had his bracketology, and they said whoever was to win the Big Sky tournament, NAU or Montana State, would be a 15 seed. Well, NAU had a losing record. They just got on a Cinderella run, knocking off Eastern Washington, getting the win in the semis, and then, playing the Bobcats very, very tough. Now, NAU had a rough year. NAU is a lot like the MSU Northern men this year. You had a handful of games that could have gone either way with the bounce of a ball or, missing a free throw at the front end of a 1-on-1 here and there. NAU played really well. But it's the Bobcats, and Danny Sprinkle headed back to the NCAA tournament. When he took this job, I think, 5 years ago now, he said, we're going to get Bobcat basketball back to where it was. Well, I would say Bobcat basketball has never been this good, at least in the last 4 decades. Yeah, they made the run in 85. They made the run in 96 to the tournament. But it is hard to argue that this run that the Bobcat men are on and under Danny Sprinkle is not one of the greatest. Now, I know about the 20s and the Golden Bobcats and the national championship in 1929, as we can look at all the banners behind us and as we watch some action on the court. But the Bobcats will find out their first round NCAA opponent coming up on Sunday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time on CBS. Let's see, what else are we seeing besides basketball? Sealy Lake's Jesse Royer, 15th in the Iditarod. We don't talk dog racing a lot. Sled racing, I guess. Sled dog racing. Speaking of dogs, my little one. So I told you the story in January. We had to put our second pup down of the year in 2 days before Christmas. So New Year's Day, we ended up with a brand new puppy. 10 weeks old at the time. Well, he is awesome. Little rambunctious, but he's a puppy, right? Today was the day that he went from being a full man to now just a puppy. My wife sent me a picture. He's got the cone of shame on. I feel bad for the little man. Now, my other dog that I brought into the relationship, Shay, she's going to be 11 in August. Full-blood mini Aussie that turned into a 35-pound big Aussie. Anyway, she got fixed, as Bob Barker used to like to say, spay and neuter your pet. She got fixed in 2013 in Helena. And I didn't feel as bad for her. Is that because I'm a guy? I mean, we've all been neutered at one point in our lives, right? Some of us 2 or 3 times. Nice drive to the rack there. Billings Central leading 43-32, starting to pull away from Hamilton here. Hamilton, the 1 seed out of the West, or the 2 seed out of the West. I forget brackets. Brackets are hard. Anyway, so sled dog race. Jesse Royer, 15th. Rocky men's golf finished 5th. Women's golf tied for 6th at the Rocky Mountain Invite down in Henderson. And Rocky's one of those teams that gets to play along with Montana Tech. They get to play not only in the fall Frontier season, but they also get to play in the spring other tournaments because, well, they have money. And then you have other teams in the Frontier that don't get to travel in the spring unless it's conference tournament, and then you're struggling to find out a budget for conference tournament. But anyway, I digress a little bit here. So Rocky had 3 in the top 10. William Dexheimer, Hayden Driver, great name for a golfer, and Nolan Berzminski. Aiden McDonough also performed pretty well. On the women's side, Valentina Zaletta finished tied for 2nd. Claire Wright was 12th. LC State was down there. BC was down there. They won team titles on the men's and women's side, respectively. Both Rocky teams will now head off to the Embry-Riddle Spring Invite in 2 weeks down in Prescott, Arizona. And every time I say Prescott or see Prescott, Arizona, I immediately think of, remember 8 Seconds, Story of Lane Frost with Luke Perry? And Renee Zellweger, and her first real major part, but Renee Zellweger shows up at the hotel after a bull ride for Lane, and Lane opens the door and she's like, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" with a fake Southern accent, and he signs something, and then she kind of stands there and she goes, "Ooh, it's not usually this cold this time of year in Prescott." So it's not Prescott, it's Prescott, Arizona. Anyway. And when you watch 8 Seconds now, it's like pure country. They were great then. They're not as great now. But what do you do? Right? By the way, we are live on the Facebook, so you can weigh in with your comments on Facebook or at Jay Walker Sports on the Twitter, if you so choose, and we hope you do. Foul called. Billings Central starting to pull away. 2:30 left in the third. It's 45-32. Rams and Jatan Ailes, their head coach, looking to get the victory. He's going to pull up the bracket again here in un momento. By the way, if you want to watch the games from afar, remember, this is a show that's heard in 50 states and watched in 50 states and 54 countries. So if you want to check out any of these games worldwide, you can on the NFHS network. And you will get to see great hoops being played across the board. Let's see, what else did we want to hit on here? By the way, this segment brought to you by Ruckers Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. Saw this, a transfer from Carroll. Garrett Long is going to enter the transfer portal. Had a decent season for the Saints, and head coach Kurt Paulson. He's been there a couple of years, heading off to see what is in the future for him. Averaged 6 points a game. Shot about 34%. Had a broken finger most of the year. Had a career-high 13 back in December. And did not. This is probably a big reason for his decision. He didn't play in the final month of the season. So it's a big part of it. Watching this tournament here, and speaking of the Frontier, noticing that there's a lot of whining going on, both on the court and off the court, but definitely on the court from players, and it's like they want to foul and on every single thing, but at the end of the day, it's like, dude, you wouldn't even get that call in the Frontier, let alone on the Big Sky or high school. But anyway, lots of great stuff going on. Lots of great stuff. Down here in Bozeman, hometown, doesn't feel like it. But let's do this. Let's just welcome him in. Grab the headset. We'll turn this a little bit as we welcome in the Associate Director of the Montana High School Association. His name is Scott Wilson. My friend, how are you? Here, how's that? Is that better? No?
I'm just doing a good job lifting
I don't know why you can't hear. Here, take mine.
No, I got it.
Oh, you got it now? Okay. We are live in Bozeman. Scott Wilson, Associate Director. I almost said Executive. You're almost to that point.
Well, I don't know. That's a long ways to go, so.
Michelotti's doing an okay job?
Yeah, no, it's been a good transition for us for sure. A lot of experience went out the door when Mark retired, and Brian's done a nice job so far this year, and there will be some things that we change and get better at each time, or each year. But so far with all the moves in the office, it's been good.
So we're down here for the State A Combined. It's always a great time of the year, and I don't know which is my favorite time of year. Is it in November with football playoffs and college basketball starting, or is it this time of the year with high school playoffs and state tournaments and spring training?
Yeah, no, that's a toss-up for sure.
This is always a great time. By Saturday, we'll have 8 state champions, could have some repeat champions. How much work goes into this for you?
Well, we really start preparing about 3-4 weeks, in advance, as much as we can. This week is obviously the most hectic just because, I was spoiled because Class A was all pretty much decided 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
So I can get everything out to teams. But for all of our other classifications, the divisionals, a lot of the divisionals were last weekend. So you go into, the last week just going through, trying to get all the schools, get all the information from the schools, make sure everybody's set up to try to make it as good of an experience as possible.
The State A is always fun. It's my 3rd year covering it, Great Falls, Missoula to Bozeman. You have great volunteers that make this happen. Maybe speak on that a touch.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what sport we're in. Volunteers are really how we function. If we didn't have great volunteers, it throughout all the communities and in all of our tournaments, it would just be it would not be as good of an experience. And so we're fortunate that all the communities in Montana really step up and take care of us and allow us to come into their buildings or their fields, depending on what the sports are, and run tournaments there. So. But without the volunteers, it would not be near the experience for everybody.
Couldn't get your boys back here to the state tournament, but gave it a heck of a run. But a lot of people say on the girls' side, the Eastern A might be down this year, but then you look at the usual suspects, they're all here, Havre, Billings Central, Hardin, and Laurel, but the West has been not holding court so far, but they still have been very strong.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it is something that, you look at this morning games were both very, good games, and it's something that, you just never know, right? Without any crossover, you think that there's some, pretty good teams on one side or the other, but, until you get to this point, you don't really ever have that, experience. And so, it'll be interesting, and, we don't have a whole lot of, teams playing each other during the regular season here. But our next girls game, the Haber Browning game, it's a 1-4 matchup, but it's my understanding that they split during the season, and so that's going to be a very competitive game probably.
We talked about Haber, 2-time defending state champs. Struggled early in the year and then did what they do best, and that's turn it on right at the end to get here, and that'll be a great game coming up after this one. On the boys' side, everybody's anticipating that rematch from last year's thrilling game, Butte Central and Lewistown, but there's 6 other teams that now a few other teams, 2 lost today, but some other teams that might have something to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that that the boys' side I think is balanced. It'll be interesting to see the games this evening, but I think there's a lot of watching the Western A Divisional last weekend on the boys' side. There was chances I thought that we might have somebody knock off the defending state champion, and so it's just something that's always out there, and I'm looking forward to a lot of good games this weekend.
Before I let you go, I got to ask you about last year we had the Wednesday tournament start because of 9 teams. Why the change this year, and how did it work with the 4 and the 5s?
Well, so Class A, that's a decision completely up to the Class A administrators. And so they decided that they did not like the 4-day tournament and wanted to do something different. And so they decided that they were going to have a play-in game and a neutral site play-in game. And it just happened that since you had Columbia Falls and in the boys and the girls, that they decided to play all the games in Butte. So it was something that... it worked out. The teams are here, and they're going to go back to their 8-team tournament, starting next year.
Well, it'll help when East Helena moves over and all sorts of configurations. A couple things I wanted to touch on that go behind the scenes here and don't get noticed. Pep bands, cheerleaders, and officials. They got the best officials here, voted on by coaches, I believe.
Yep.
And then, I know you can't choose favorites, but that Butte Central pep band is pretty amazing. They got singers and everything.
Yeah, no, exactly. They come in and they have 6, 7 kids playing, and they always have a singer or two, and it's definitely kudos to them just to go up against these pep bands that some of them will have up to 30, 40 kids in it. So yeah, it's pretty amazing what they do, and each year that by the end of the tournament, a lot of times they're the favorite pep band of the crowd. So
yeah, it's just like cheer squads. You had your favorite cheer squads as well. When this tournament starts, is that when you get really busy, or does things settle down a touch?
It just depends. Yeah, the first day this morning is the busiest usually. There's always some last minute things that come up, and you're trying to take care of all the media requests, or schools are coming in for the facility for the first time, and so that's busy. And then after that, really it comes down to just trying to make sure you stay on schedule and be efficient. And so it pretty much runs itself once it gets going.
Are you a meatball fan? Today's meatball day.
No, I did not know that.
It is also crab meat day. Do you like crab meat?
I do.
Okay.
I actually like both of those.
Okay.
So.
I don't know what's for dinner tonight, but lunch was soup, which was a rare. We never get soup at a state tournament. I loved it.
Right. Yep. No, but I have no idea what's for dinner. So.
Hey, before I let you go, how do I get one of your passes? I want one of these all-access things. I go to all these events.
Well, you probably have to talk to Michelati about that one. So.
All right. Hey, I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of the day, and well done again on another great tournament so far.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
That is Scott Wilson, the Associate Director of the MHSA, joining us here, Jason Walker Show, and we'll let him go back to work. We are live from Bozeman. Appreciate it, my man, and love this time of year. Love this time of year, absolutely. Nothing beats it, and nothing beats state tournament time. Nothing beats tournaments. And I've been doing the State A for the last 3 years with NFHS Network, and continuing this year. Got boys games coming up at 6:30 and 8 tonight. Looking forward to seeing Fergus with Fisher Brown and his great hair, but looking forward to seeing that again. But I mean, nothing beats the State C. Nothing beats B. Double A is great. A is great. But B and C are my 2 favorite tournaments, and they always have been. And I grew up going to a lot of different schools and following a lot of different classifications. Graduated from Bozeman High, Double A school. Obviously loved my Hawks, still do. But yeah, I love the A, and I love all the basketball, boys and girls. It's fantastic. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up here from Bozeman for today, tell you what's on the way for tomorrow, and updates of brackets and scores as we go on here. Live from Bozeman, Jason Walker Show, segment brought to you by Rutgers Furniture, right here in Bozeman. Well, I should say they're actually in Helena, but we are here in Bozeman.
Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rutgers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rutgers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Summer, the season to work hard. Summer, a time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little, or a lot, your choice. Have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Final segment, Jason Walker Show on a Thursday, live in Bozeman at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, Max Worthington Arena on the campus of Montana State University. It is the State A boys and girls combined basketball tournament. Appreciate you joining us. We'll have to change that camera angle for tomorrow. Give you an update. The Billings Central girls look like they're going to move on to the semifinals. 57-40 leading Hamilton right now with 5:08 to play in the game. Earlier today, and then you've got Havre and Browning coming up. That'll be another good one. The two-time defending state champs won 4 of the last 5. So that is on the way. And then you've got boys action tonight, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. And we'll tell you here in Bozeman. Let's see. Butte Central beat Columbia Falls. Dillon beat Glendive. They'll play tomorrow in the semis. Tonight, you've got Frenchtown taking on Billings Central, and then Lewistown and Hamilton, 8 o'clock in the nightcap. And you can watch all the games on the NFHS network wherever you are across the state of Montana or the world. So, there you go. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Billings Central in control with the basketball. We'll move the camera a little bit. Give you a little live action bucket good in the paint. So, boom. 3-pointer no good at the other end, and Billings Central with the rebound. It's a 20-point lead. So, if you were Seth, what's his name? Seth Davis from the internet, you could mark Sharpie. And Billings Central will await the winner of tonight's Havre Browning game. Can you imagine? So if Browning and Havre, so if Havre beats Browning, which a lot of people are expecting, then you'd have a Billings Central Havre semifinal. We've seen them in the state championship the last 2 years. You'd have a semifinal, which would be absolutely nuts. I mean, it hasn't happened in a few years. Longtime rivals in the Eastern A. Western A, many thought was better this year, but Eastern A is going to go 3-0 through the first 3 games here, with Havre looking to make it 4-0 and sweeping the action. Let's go back to this. Let's see. Can we get a little bit of action here? Laney Kearns for Hamilton heading to the free throw line down at the other end. So appreciate everybody here at MSU. You know, it's like coming home to the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, seeing my family, kind of. Chris Hayden doing a great job running things for this tournament, and great crowds, great volunteers. Couldn't do it without the volunteers, as Scott Wilson said. I mean, they're everything. As we'll try to rotate and get you action. And Billings Central rolling right now up 22. Anyway, so Billings Central's going to move on. And then we have the boys' games tonight. Got action across the state. Let's see if we can update any brackets and any scores right now. Let's see here. Girls at State C in Billings play tonight. Twin Bridges, Roy Winifred. Semifinal, then Manhattan Christian, Saco Whitewater, Hinsdale on the girls' side. And let's see. Where's my boys? Class C boys. Get an update as we hit refresh. Broadus blowing out Lone Peak, 66-38. That win final. Luster Christian, unbeaten. And Big Sandy will play coming up at the top of the hour down there in Billings. Manhattan Christian boys beat Broadview Lavina, 54-45. Belt beat Fairview, 53-43. The state AA boys, earlier action. Glacier defeated Skyview, 65-48. West over Big Sky, 62-34. Bozeman in the fourth quarter leads Butte now 77-63. Remember, Butte led at the half. And Bozeman looking to get the win over the hometown Bulldogs there at the Civic Center. And then Hellgate and Gallatin will play tonight in the AA boys. The AA girls, early games today. Saw Hellgate beat Gallatin 64-52. Billings West doubled up Sentinel 52-26. Games tonight, Skyview, Big Sky, Flathead, Bozeman. And then at the State B, let's see, we'll move to the boys first. And 3 games complete at Four Seasons Arena. Loyola over Lodgegrass 83-56. Wolf Point held off Columbus 65-62. And Malta just beat Lame Deer 68-49. Tipping off at the top of the hour, you got Red Lodge and Big Fork there in Great Falls. And then on the girls' side, early games today saw Big Fork beat Baker 52-38. Huntley Project all over Wolf Point 70-28 tonight. Malta Columbus, and the nightcap in Great Falls has Big Timber taking on Missoula Loyola. This segment, by the way, brought to you by Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino. Hot games, warm staff, and cold drinks. Make sure you drink and gamble responsibly. All right, let's do on this day in history. It is March the 9th, National Barbie Day. On this date in 1959, Barbie made her debut at the American Toy Fair in New York City. Since then, over 1 billion Barbie dolls have been sold worldwide. It is World Kidney Day, National Meatball Day, National Crab Meat Day, Get Over It Day, and Slam the Scam Day. This date in 1897, Cleveland Indians fans started calling the team the Indians. Became the official name in 1915 and lasted until the woke mob changed everything. You know, it's funny because you've got MLB all, and the woke mob, but then you have here in this tournament, the Browning Indians. Nobody complains. Nobody is offended. Nobody says anything. The crowd show up. They are just fantastic hoopers. Love when Browning's in action. Love when Lodgegrass. Love when Box Elder, Rocky Boy. You name it. Nobody's offended in Montana. 1897, the Cleveland then Spiders signed, speaking of why they started calling them the Indians, signed Louis Sockalexis. He was full-blooded Penobscot, Native American. 1936, Babe Ruth turned down the Reds to make a comeback as a player. 1946, Ted Williams offered $500,000 to play in the Mexican Baseball League. He turned it down. 1961, Philadelphia Warriors center Wilt, 65 seconds left. So let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Walk-off, as always, presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. Make sure you stop in for your favorite Cajun food this side of, the best Cajun food this side of New Orleans. By the way, I was in there yesterday and talked to Miss Lou, and things are going great. And they have signed up, partnered up with supporting Impact Montana, which helps American veterans, and much like the Adaptive Performance Center in Billings and in Helena. Absolutely wonderful people at Cafe Zydeco. They care about our community. They care about our veterans. They care about our military, law enforcement, first responders. They take care of you. And you should go into Cafe Zydeco and take care of them. All right, that'll wrap it up from Bozeman on a kind of chilly day down here. I'm not going to lie. It was a little windy last night. I went out for dinner. But anyway, good luck and best of luck to all the teams that are still competing for state championships. Billings Central is going to keep that drive alive with a win today. 40 seconds left, up 22. Hamilton's dream's going to come to an end. They'll try to stay alive for a third-place trophy on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon here in Bozeman. Hope you enjoyed the coverage from Bozeman. Thanks to Scott Wilson for joining us, Associate Director of the MHSA. We will do it again tomorrow here at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. Hope you join us. I think we're going to talk to a TV news reporter tomorrow. A famous TV news reporter will join us tomorrow. He's sitting right next to me. I had to say that. We'll update you on state tournaments and a whole lot more, and maybe some surprises tomorrow, too. We'll see you back here on the Jason Walker Show. Make sure you go to jasonwalkershow.com if you missed anything or want to rewatch anything. See you back here tomorrow. Have a great Thursday, everybody.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.